All right, hopefully he answers. If he doesn't answer, then we'll just you know,
Yeah.
go on without him.
You have reached the Sprint voicemail box.
Okay, so that's not working.
Call.
Yep. I don't know.
Huh? I thought I sent a message to him like through Facebook to see if he was going to be here tonight, and he said yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. Is this Rusty?
Yep.
This is.
Awesome. Okay, I'm glad you're with us. All right, so we're probably, we might bring you up in the first break. We're probably not going to bring you up to the second break, which is like the 17-minute after. But, you know, if you want to hang with us, that's cool. And then we'll just go from there.
Yeah, I'll keep it on, and then whenever you need to talk, I'll be ready.
Okay, cool. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's great. Woo! So I miss Northblatt not being on it though.
Yeah, not sure what that's about.
That he's
I thought
not.
he was doing it tonight too.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was definitely going to be on it tonight.
Yep. Another shooting today in the
Where?
New Jersey Mall. Only this guy let loose and nobody got shot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He hit nobody. That's my other big question. How are these people taking semi-automatic weapons and firing them into groups of people and hitting nobody?
They have no training.
Does nobody else want to know why that is? I mean, if I take a semi-automatic weapon into a mall into the food court and let loose, I'm killing more than one person.
Did you see the stuff I posted in Trips?
Yeah, well, I saw the dummy episodes like a couple of days later, but that doesn't surprise me.
Did you see that
and whatnot?
Did you see that news clip where the captain of the police department is talking and he openly admits they've been practicing a drill of the same thing, and that they were doing the drill at the same time, and then there's a man to I think it looks like it's to his right that just like puts his head over his face like, oh my God, he didn't just say that right now, like a politician. On the right, it's like it's unbelievable.
Like this happens, they just mysteriously happen to be running a what do you call it? One of those going on every single time.
Right, and then
They had a bomb one going on during the Boston Marathon. What?
Well, apparently he wasn't supposed to be saying that. You know, I mean, like, I've never heard like a captain just come right out and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're doing a drill."
Imagine a town.
Alright, that's alright.
Okay. I'm like, oh my God, we're starting.
So here's a good one.
What?
I just found a really crazy one that says, it's DHS, Department of Homeland Security, is arming for a 7-year war against the American people, starting with TSA. Really interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten really interesting in a couple of days.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, whoa.
Well, this one's really weird. It's got everything on it. Like from them building a domestic army through TSA.
I definitely want to talk about this in the second hour. You know, and then wrap it into how it applies to, like, how is it relatable to this particular movement. I mean, the one connection that I can always see is that, you know, they've passed laws where you can't have marijuana on you and then carry firearms at the same time, because it's considered a class 1 drug.
You can't board a plane with marijuana. You can't board a plane with your pot either.
Well, yeah, some of them are actually allowing patients to like fly. I've heard accounts of people like taking quite a bit on the plane now.
Well, if you're flying privately, but you're not going through TSA with a bunch of pot.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it was TSA, but it was a major airline.
Well, I can tell you this: if I right now, even if I was in Colorado and I'm a card holder, right?
Uh-huh.
North Flat's online.
Oh, he is? You want to try him?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. All right, he was just a little bit late.
He waited right till the midnight hour.
Still trying to connect. Or we can start with it. We can start it. There we go.
Imagine a town where there are no small joints, just small stoners, where Kush is a girl's best friend, and law-breaking is the new liberty. It's the Hollywood Hemptress Hour, hosted by your honey blonde Hemptress, Terry Joyce.
Welcome to Hollywood Hemptress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network at iHeartRadio. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Right now, I have with me my co-host, Kevin Korn from Hardcore Entertainment, and also the show Trips, the new web series Trips, as well as North Blatt Forsgren, also creator and actor. I don't know, we're not actors really, but star of Trips. Welcome to the show, guys.
Woo!
Good evening.
Oh, good evening. It's really good to see your little pictures on Skype. There's always that little bit of a sweat, like before the midnight hour, like, are we all gonna be here? I have that little slight panic, but that's just my own fear. So, I had an interesting weekend, a couple days off. Actually did a show in Washington, and a comedy show for a birthday party. At a kind of like a bar, Mexican bar restaurant kind of situation. And one of the groups of people, there's two birthday parties going on at the same time. And one of the groups of people wasn't expecting me to come up. And there was also karaoke going on. And so I had to go on in between the karaoke. I thought it was difficult in Salt Lake City, Utah. Right. And so, so I sing a song, and then there's a group of people to the left of me, and then there's like, another group of people to the right, and there's like, and I'm facing this bar, and I get heckled by a cop. Okay. I get, which I've had my run-in with police officers, especially when it comes to to marijuana or any type of law enforcement, including, federal raids in doctor's office and in the same building as a medical marijuana dispensary in Northern California. That's how I started being an activist, as well as, performing in Coos Bay, Washington, and talking about marijuana on stage, and then going back into my room to toke a little bit of God's gift in my room, and then the feds are out in front of my door. Both incidents have been pretty good, but, after a while you do get a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, about cops. And, so I asked the crowd, I go, who smokes weed? And there was like this moment where like nobody was really that supportive. I'm like, you think, come on guys, it's Washington, it's like, I always feel like people just don't even want to raise their hands, well, I voted for it, but I did it in private in a booth where nobody could see me. And I still don't want my neighbors or, my other employees or my boss to know that I actually really smoke it. Do you guys feel that way?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I find it really weird, because, my mom's the same way. I think it's just, weird generational gaps. It depends on where you are. But my mom, still to this day, she's weirded out by pot. Like, oh, my God, it's this big conspiracy, you can't tell anybody. They still want to hide in the closet and smoke it. And it's like, but it's not something you have to hide anymore. I try to explain that. I'm like, you don't have to, you don't have to worry or hide anymore. It's okay. And they don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Kevin on this one. I think it's got something to do with the generations. Both my parents are kind of the same way, I've always been one to sit down on a park bench and, roll up a joint and not have to, not even worry about it, but no, my parents are kind of the same way, behind closed doors, very hush-hush, don't talk about it, kind of thing. I've always kind of wondered that too. I think it's kind of weird. It feels like, I don't know, it just feels like living in fear, living with somebody's thumb on top of you, I don't know.
Well, this was a little bit of an older crowd. I mean, like one guy was celebrating his 50th birthday, so maybe that might have been something where, that makes sense. And then there was also a woman, the girl that had hired me for the birthday party. She was turning 27. So, I mean, like she'd already seen me before, so obviously anything that I was going to talk about wasn't going to be really shocking to her. But they still laughed at the marijuana, my marijuana jokes. They still laughed, and I did that Summer of the Rainbow piece, and then which was that spoof on karaoke, and so that went over really big because they were doing karaoke. And then I, pretty much, got done and danced and had a great time, throughout the night. But the police officer, because like when the cop heckled me, I was like, I just railed into him like harder than I normally do with people. I'm like, how dare you're a cop. You're a cop. And then I was like just going off on him. That he actually walked up and said, hey, he actually apologized to me afterwards. I go, oh man, I wasn't really taking you seriously. And he goes, well, I'm not going to taser you. And I go, I'm not holding. So it was a sort of like an interesting moment. Sometimes I feel that I work on remembering or reminding myself, especially now when it feels like everything's becoming really, militarized, or the police is, it seems like we're becoming more of a police state. Is to remember that that there is a moment of humanity that happens between cops and people. Like not just because they are on the other side, maybe they're doing something that they're not necessarily comfortable with, or there is that moment. Like most of my interaction, even with the feds, I mean, after the raid was over, they shook my hand and they go, "Good luck on your comedy career." And I go, "Yeah, thanks for giving me 30 minutes of new material." So I don't know. I mean, I mean, that's my take on it. Do you guys think that I'm just like looking through rose-colored glasses, or is this actually like a part of the good part of like maybe us getting through this crap?
Definitely a good part getting through. I mean, I've seen like I said, not only is it the generational gap, but I've also seen they're much more accepting about it. I mean, 10 years ago, if you were to go into that same room of people and go, I smoke pot, they would have been like, ugh, and they would have been like, ugh, and they just would have been appalled. They would have looked at you, looked down on you, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
It would have been worse. Now you can go into those same room of people and you can be like, hi, I smoke pot, come on, this is Washington. They'll be like, they're not really sure if they can come out of the closet yet. They're still kind of like behind closed doors with it. They're accepting it more, and they're like, oh, okay. Whether they smoke pot or not, yeah, they're going to laugh at the jokes because they smoked pot at least at one point or not in their life.
It's kind of like, when Ellen did comedy for the first time after she came out, right?
Uh-huh. Well.
So at that time, it really wasn't accepted quite yet. I think Ellen was one of the breakthrough, the gay or homosexual comics, to come out on the scene and still have a large following of both straight and gay audience. Kind of the same thing, people are slowly gaining acceptance to marijuana in the mainstream. Whether they smoke it or not, it's finally being accepted as a medical substance. And by gaining acceptance as a medical substance, and being looked at it almost like Tylenol, as opposed to looked at like heroin. I think that the mainstream is just really starting to accept the fact that pot's out there and it's not going away.
How much influence do you feel that celebrities have on acceptance of marijuana? I mean, do you think that people, if they know that, like, Woody Harrelson smokes it, or Jennifer Aniston smokes it, or certain people publicly come out about it, do you think that is influencing how people feel about it?
Absolutely.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, people go out and buy cars because those people tell them to, of course.
Right. Well,
of course they see it. I mean, it reminds me a lot of like the old movies back in the day where they all smoked cigarettes, so they glamorized smoking, and smoking was cool. And then had that, and then they started making like candy cigarettes for kids, you know. And
Oh, I
it was
remember
a cool
candy
thing.
cigarettes. Do they still have those?
What?
Do they still have candy cigarettes?
No, those were gone by the time I was a kid. I mean, you can still
Well, they
get
still
them.
sell them as candy.
Selling outdated, but yeah, they quit making those a long time ago. But back in the day, they glamorized smoking cigarettes, and it became a popular and a well-accepted thing. You know, if we can get more people to jump on board and just admit, yeah, you know, I smoke pot, or yeah, I've smoked pot, it really wasn't for me, but you want to do it. I mean, that's really what we're looking for. If they come out and say that, of course it's going to help push other people in to go, oh, well, you know, if they do it, then I guess it's okay, I'll do it. I mean, Michael Phelps is winning gold medals in swimming and smoking pot.
Right. But you know, but didn't he lose did he lose his sponsorship? Did the spot or were they?
I don't really think he cares if he lost a sponsorship because he didn't lose his gold medals, unlike that Oregon kid who was in a Winter Olympics for snowboarding and won 2 gold medals, and they took both of his gold medals because after he won the gold medals, he tested positive for pot. They took his away, but Michael Phelps got to keep his.
Huh.
That's kind of a catch-22.
I wonder why. I think I would like to do more research on that and figure out why that happened.
Well, because one's a kid that nobody heard of who won 2 gold medals in snowboarding during the Winter Olympics, and the other one's Michael Phelps.
Right.
Right? And the other one's Michael Phelps. That's kind of the big difference. But we're also talking about the same committee that took away wrestling and said wrestling's not a sport, but we're talking about the Olympics, and the Olympics were the only, or wrestling was the only sport in the Olympics.
Yeah.
The Olympics started around wrestling. Roman Greco wrestling was the only sport in Olympics.
Have you heard?
Saying that's not a sport. These people are crazy. They also do curling. They put this puck with ice and brooms. I mean, that's a sport.
Wasn't there something going on in Oregon where the football players were smoking weed in the college, and there was kind of a big deal about that.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, there was something about a year or two back ago about that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's kind of I guess that they say that if you smoke marijuana, it could be considered an enhancing drug in some ways. But you know, I think you would think it would be a good thing for the athletes, so that maybe it would help with pain, or maybe it helps them to, I don't know.
I would assume relax during downtime. I mean, when you work out, like when you're an athlete, you work out, you work at intervals, you know. So you're basically always pressing. So you're working at intervals. Like you'll do so many sets of reps, and then the next week you'll do so many sets and reps, but you'll do more, and you'll keep doing more and more and more, and building up and up and up. You're always doing these weird intervals. But while you're doing those intervals, you also have intervals of downtime, where you actually allow the muscles to grow. And regenerate. And during that time, I think smoking pot would be excellent because you'd be able to relax.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be. I know that when I have sore muscles sometimes, for whatever reason, it helps me to smoke some weed, and get through it. I mean, just any type of body pain or even mental, if you emotional upset, it's always nice to have. I mean. A hot bath and a joint is usually is well prescribed for many ailments.
Hey, hot ice.
Yeah. But I just find it interesting, going into like how people get busted, people get stripped of their medals, people get this and that based on whether or not they've tested positive for marijuana, and yet. Again, I'm going to bring it. The recent Gallup poll is that 58% of Americans actually believe that it should be legal, and it's so much a part of. In some ways, it's very much a part of our culture. I know, like years ago, like in this might have been like 1992, 93. My ex-husband's brother was a cop. Yeah, I was married before. I normally don't talk about it, but and we did we came back from a gig because he was a comic too, and we went through a tour through the jail, and he was like what like I really wanted to like go through a tour. Me, that I was really looking forward after a really long tour, flying all night, going in and doing a tour through a jailhouse. My favorite thing to do. But he was nice and he took us through and I looked at like one of the stalls and he goes, oh, this is where we put the drug addicts at and incarcerate them here. Or the people that are busted for selling drugs or drug offenses. And I go, oh, you mean like marijuana? He goes, no, we don't care about marijuana. We're into the more harder drugs. And this was like back in like 1990.
Yeah, well, you found a nice little station.
Well, this was Los Angeles. It was Los Angeles.
County or in somewhere that wasn't really hurting for money. Because I usually see it's like here, like where I'm not going to say the county that I live in, but the county I live in is ridiculous. Let's put it this way: I went to court for a DUI, my very first DUI, my very first offense. Whatever. And I watched the people that go up in court in front of me, and the person right before me were two guys. They were charged in a hit and run. They had a high-speed police chase where they actually ended up flipping their vehicle. They had to bring in like machines to cut them out. And after they got these guys out, they found that their Jeep Cherokee was full of methamphetamines and semi-automatic weapons. These guys both had 2 strikes, right? And we're looking at their 3rd strike each, right? The judge released them on their own recognizance and gave them a court date, like they were coming back to court, right? I've been there for my first offense. I got charged to 7 days and 2 years probation right then and there. And it cost me almost $12,000.
Because they wanted to set an example for you, Kevin.
Well, here's the deal. I am a working citizen who pays my taxes. I also, I pay my land taxes. I pay my taxes, and I have a job. Here are these 2 bums that are running around with semi-automatics and methamphetamines, and they're walking. You want to know why? Because they weren't worth anything to the county I live in. Because they didn't have any money. If these guys would have had money, they would have been paying it. But because they didn't, they walk. So it kind of just depends on what police you get stopped by, what county, how much money they're in need of. Because that's really what drives it. They don't police to protect anymore. The motto used to be protect and serve.
Right.
Now police for profit.
Yeah, it's almost as glib as saying good to the last drop. And on that note, we'll be right back. We're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back with more Hollywood Hempers Hour. Stay tuned. Hey.
Well, you can all chat among yourselves.
Okay. Hi, Casper.
Hi. Yeah, Sasha wanted to make sure you knew it was me.
Well, I kind of figured when you said, "Oh, you were married to him," I see in the chat you're married to a man in uniform, hot, and I'm like, Casper must be here. Actually, he didn't wear it was his brother that had the uniform, but he was a comic with a mullet haircut.
I used to have a mullet haircut.
Right.
You see it when I'm in my Willie Nelson interview. It's funny as hell.
Oh my God! Well, the mullet was popular. It was.
It was.
Yeah.
Business in the front, party in the back.
Right. Right.
Do it.
But that's a sign on our front door. It says specifically, if you're here to visit Sasha, please use front door. If you're here to visit Casper, please enter in the rear.
Right. Rusty, are you with us still?
I am with you. Thank you very much for having me on.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad to have you on. So we'll bring you up on the second break right here. And
Okay.
yeah. Now, what is it again? You're the world's greatest the open mic comic, or how's the phrase go again?
The Rusty Diamond Open Mic Champion.
Okay, Rusty
Open
Diamond
Mic Champion.
open mic champion. Okay,
Diamond open mic champion.
Diamond open Rusty Diamond open mic champion. Okay.
Oh,
And why are you a rusty diamond? I mean, I just gotta know.
I was given the title, the name. I became the Rusty Diamond. You know, I have to do things sometimes might be a little dirty sometimes.
That's cool because, but with you being a diamond, you know, it tells me that you're probably a treasure, and I think most treasures should be very deep.
Carrying treasure.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to be a little rusty so you don't shine too bright.
That's correct. Yeah. You know, you can have a diamond shine too bright.
Right. I don't know.
I was just curious, so okay, now I know why you're a rusty diamond.
Now you know the story for the most part.
Yay.
speaking of Rusty Diamonds, I had to have eaten 2 pounds of bacon tonight. Good God.
Really?
I love bacon.
I love bacon too.
I love bacon too, but I mean,
My kids, I asked my kids, said, well, what do you want for dinner? They said bacon. I said, oh, well, shit, I guess we can do that. Don't get caught into that trap.
Ross is maple bacon. Have you ever had maple bacon?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it
Ooh.
smells great for 2 days in the house too.
oh wow.
I'm a pepper bacon fan myself.
Yeah.
Peppered maple bacon. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds good.
Fucking A. It was.
You know,
So
pulled
it's time
pork
to
is
start
really
cooking some food.
pulled pork is really popular up here. Not as popular down in LA, I don't think.
No, actually, you get to you know what's really weird too is we have pulled pork on the West Coast, but on the East Coast they have fried pork sandwiches,
Yeah, deep fried pork chops.
deep fried pork chop sandwiches. They do not have those on the West Coast, but they are huge on the East Coast.
Shit, on the East Coast, Midwest, every other fucking block has a deep fried pork chop sandwich. Fucking
We're coming back in 30 seconds.
Okay. We're lost in our pork chop story.
Rich Yukon to score legal medical cannabis. For more information, visit Health Canada's medical cannabis site, and specifically its medical cannabis FAQ documentation. This has been a Time for Hemp news break. Thank you for joining us here at timeforhemp.com. Please share us with your friends.
Welcome back to Hollywood Huntress Hour on Time for Hemp. We are on iHeartRadio at iHeartRadio.com. In studio, I have with me Kevin Korn from Hardcorn Entertainment, co-hosting again this week with North Black Forsgren, also co-hosting with me, from the show Trips. Thanks, guys, for being here. We are into the second part of the first hour, and we have a really fun guest coming to the show today, or tonight, I guess. Well, it's today now. It's 12:23 a.m. on the Pacific Coast side. But you know what? It doesn't really matter what time it is, right? It feels like today, tomorrow, tonight, in the evening. Who cares? But my guest, our special guest today, is someone that I met at a club called the Tonic Room in Portland, Oregon. And we were actually there because Paul Provenza was doing a documentary. I think it's Andy Andrist was sexually molested, and there's a documentary of him confronting his person, and the person who molested him, and then there was a show dedicated to comedians who had been molested, and they would be telling their story with their humor. And afterwards, it was great because there were so many comics that came out that night to be supportive. And we were all sitting around in groups just talking to each other and congregating. And I met our guest, and he had this vapor pen that was just absolutely incredible. And of course, we passed it around and smoked some really good weed that night. It was just a beautiful night. And we talked about his friend that marketed the pen and all kinds of different things. And I know that he's definitely an advocate of cannabis and marijuana. And anybody who smokes me out with a great pen like that is welcome on my show. So, welcome to the show. He is actually the world champion open mic comic in the world. And so I'd like to welcome Rusty Diamond. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Terry. It's great to be here. I don't know how I can top that intro right there. That might be the best one I've got. Usually it's, I'm not quite sure what this guy's name is. I kind of forgot it, or, other great ones like that. But that's awesome.
Well, I mean,
that was
well, thank you. Well, thank you. I was just going on the memory of meeting you, and just that one. I mean, we're still talking, and I think that that's something that marijuana does too with people. Do you find that maybe you have a little bit more of a bonding? I don't know. I think maybe we do. I mean, we're sharing a plant, kind of passing it around, or they say you lose your memory when you have short-term memory. You don't remember people. I might not remember people's names when I see them again, but I probably wouldn't have remembered them had I not been high either. I feel that usually when you meet somebody for the first time, you usually need to hear their name maybe 3 times for it to actually get into your head. Because for me, you look at somebody and you take them in as a person first, and then it's a conversation. And there's a lot of, and then the name just seems like superfluous to the actual interaction that's happening. But that's just me. I don't know. But your name, how could anybody forget that? Rusty Diamond. You sound like you're a wrestler or a character in a James Bond movie.
I'm working on the character in the James Bond movie part. That's gonna happen at some point. The wrestler part is still going, still working towards that part. I actually haven't been able to wrestle a match. I had a couple friends who were close to me who were wrestling, and they had some head injuries, as did I. I had some before I started wrestling, and smoking's always been a big help with that. I've had 5 now 6 pretty major concussions, and just being able to smoke's helped me out a bunch. And like you were saying, remembering names is sometimes a tough thing to do, or remembering events. But I had a friend tell me that when you smoke, the only things you remember are the cool things, and that's how I remember meeting you. And that was a fun night right there. I was at the time I was living about a 20-minute walk from the Tonic Lounge, so I'd go down there pretty often, and we were just hanging out back, and I had that vapor pen, and I love it. I've been using that thing for quite some time. I right before I got it, I had stopped smoking for a month, just for fun, for a little. Not, I don't know. I didn't want to. I just kind of felt like I was just gonna stop, and. So I ended up giving away everything I had. I gave away all my pipes, all my lighters.
Why? Because you like the vapor pen more, or were you just cleaning house?
So, yeah, this was before I got the vapor pen. I gave away everything. I gave away everything I had that I smoked with. And I was like, yeah, I'll get back to smoking at some point. But for now, I gave everything away, and then,
So were you decided to quit for a while? Was that why you were giving them away?
yeah, I decided to quit for a while, and I ended up quitting for a month, and I was going out. I was going down to a wrestling show one day, and I had a little bit of time to kill, and I had just started smoking again, and I needed to go get some sort of peace, and
Uh-huh.
I was going to buy one of those little the dugouts, the little wooden pipes. But this guy, he sold me on this paper pen, and ever since then, I've been hooked. I've seen a few other people that have had them now, and I mean, they work great. Sometimes, I mean, you can burn them a little hot, and it'll just force the thing. But if you know how to work it right, and you got it down, I mean, it's a great thing just for walking around. 'Cause I walk around pretty much everywhere, so I can just walk, and it looks like one of those sort of like those e-cigarette things they have going, and I mean, I just take a little hit and keep walking rather than having universal, arm extended out, hand down, flame on, holding the pipe in the other hand, doing that motion that everybody knows and has seen 1,000 times.
Uh-huh.
Just a quick little click and a light, or a little click, and you're good to go. And you just walk on. It doesn't smell quite as much as
Does it have a
just
little bit of an
regular.
odor to it? Because it was hard for me to tell that night, because we were outdoors and other people had been smoking, so it was blended with other strains of marijuana throughout the patio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there were probably a few different strains going around, a few different groups of people, but I think the smell's still definitely there, but it's down a little bit. If it's some special buds, I mean, it might smell a little bit more, but I mean that's just a given. But I haven't really been able to commit to the whole like the full vapor yet, just because I never feel like I'm really like getting a good hit. Like I still like the whole being able to pass it. I have a friend who has this vaporizer that
Does he have the volcano, or does he have the other one that has like the tube that comes out?
It's a portable one.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like a what's that? It's about the size of a small walkie-talkie or so, and I mean it just does the same thing, but it's a complete vaporizer rather than this one that I have is it's basically a self-contained pipe with a butane torch, and but that thing that he has, I just never feel like I'm really smoking. I mean, I'm sure it's better for you with not I don't have an actual smoke.
Well, see, I haven't I've tried. I mean, I've done a few vaporizers. I mean, I've had the volcano before a few times, and I've done like the one with the tube, and I haven't done the handheld one. I've done the vaporizer pen. But one of the things that I kind of like what it feels like to smoke a joint. I like the burning of the paper. I like the burning of the weed, the way it feels in your lungs. Because I'm an ex-smoker, and I smoked cigarettes for I don't know, maybe 14 years or so. And I when I quit like 4 years ago. But having the sensation of still sucking in, so that air, and you want to feel that heat a little bit. I like it when it feels like I've burned off a few hairs in my lungs a little bit. Still,
Right.
I like that feeling, and I think it kind of helps me not to want a cigarette too as well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would be the kind of the same. Like when I stopped smoking cigarettes, it worked for me. It definitely satisfy that craving of.
Okay, I have to interrupt for just a second, but like North Blatt just like posted in our in the chat. I hear blowjobs reduce tar intake. Mysteries of science. Come on. North Blatt,
No,
what?
I said it's all true.
I hear blowjobs reduce tar intake. Well, I mean, give me your theory on that. How is that reducing your tar intake by having a blowjob?
Again, and quantum physics, who knows, I mean, it's one of them mysteries. We're not yet prepared enough to understand. Just go with it.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's one of those things. It's an oral fixation. So, if you're doing, maybe you're having a little bit of a less tar intake because you're actually giving a blowjob rather than actually smoking a cigarette. But you'd have to give a lot of blowjobs maybe to like actually use that as an addiction breaker.
Well, I think it depends on if you cough or not.
What? Rusty, were you gonna say something, Rusty?
Well, I was just gonna say, that's like a blowjob an hour if you're a smoker like I am. I mean, I can't keep up with that kind of day right there.
But you know what? Did you like when you smoke cigarettes? I used to like 7 minutes. Like if you were on break or whatever, you go, oh, I got 3 minutes to go to the bathroom. I got 7 minutes to smoke a cigarette. However, I mean, there was time. Do you think you could do a blowjob in 7 minutes?
I don't think so. Not the kind of blowjob that someone should deserve. You can't. 7 minutes is nothing. That's too much of a quickie.
Well, I don't know if you've ever had to work on a budget or not, but there's a fucking recession, man.
You could probably like sell it as like the 7 minute blowjob. Come on, the 7 minute blowjob. This 7. You got a break. Got 10 minutes on a break. Get a blowjob in 7. Smoke half a cigarette.
Commercial last night. Do it. Suzanne Summers.
Oh my God.
8-minute blowjob. Here's the 7-minute blowjob.
What did you say, Rusty?
I said you've heard of the 8-minute blowjob. Now here's the 7-minute blowjob. All for $19.95.
If you call an order now, we'll send you an extra one for just the price of shipping and handling.
Have you now? A friend of mine said that his glass art teacher, not glass art teacher, but glass, I guess like he was taking glass shop or I don't know, but or wood shop. I don't know why they were talking about wood shop, but it was it was some shop thing that he went to high school for, and he said that his teacher said that a bong is super phallic, and that it's it's the shaft, and then the balls are the base where you light it up. And every time you're hitting the bong, you're hitting like a huge giant penis, basically.
And what, a pipe isn't phallic?
Well, pipe is phallic too. Yeah.
They're all kind of phallic.
Right. Yeah.
Joint's phallic. I mean, I think some things are just phallic by happenstance. It wasn't like somebody was had a bunch of pot in their hand. They're like, what can I do? For this pot to make it feel like I'm sucking a dick and smoking at the same time. What can we do?
Well, that might be why they started using apples, because they were like smoking out of titties.
Yeah. Maybe. What would be a volcano? What shape would a volcano be? Is that the closest thing to a vagina?
No, it's more like
hit
off of a hot air balloon. I'm not a fan of vaporizers. I've owned a few of them. I've even owned a volcano. Nice ones. The thing with the vape pens, I don't like them a whole lot because I've had my problems with them. Like, one, I don't think they ever get hot enough. I don't think I'm getting like a really good hit. And two, the atomizers in them, I always had to keep replacing, and it wasn't worth it. And I've tried other vaporizers I don't like, even whether they're expensive or cheap. I don't like them because the air's so hot. Like, if you constantly use it, within a week you can barely breathe, talk, your voice is going. It just totally eats the lining of your esophagus up. So I'm not a big fan of them.
All right, on that note, we got to come back. We got a commercial break. We'll be right back with more Hollywood Hempers Hour with my guests, Rusty Diamond, co-host Kevin Korn, and North Black Forsgren. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, you can chit chat.
Now,
Okay.
when it comes
Oh, so Casper,
Yeah.
can you play the internet sex comedy piece as the intro into the show?
You mean at the top of the hour, or when we come back from this break?
And when we come back from this break.
I sure can.
Okay, thank you.
Internet sex. Is there any other kind now?
I know. No kidding.
I love internet sex because, like, I can have a sexual encounter with, like, about 15 people in, like, 9 minutes, never leave home, never have to go get checked for a disease. It's great.
Yeah. Pretty much. And it's not really like it's not really like cheating either, is it? Is it?
And quite honestly, they're all better in my head than they could ever be in my bed.
But isn't it sad? Isn't that the kind of the way it is, though? A little bit. I don't know. Maybe
No.
maybe I just haven't had the right. No one's. Maybe I'm tainted now. I mean, not tainted, but.
I've discovered this from listening to conversations between couples.
Uh-huh.
Men and women have sexual encounters. They can usually time brownies. You know, like 30 minutes and they're done. You know, you put the brownies in, go to bed, have sex, get up, the brownies are done, put the icing on. When two guys get together or two women get together and have sex, it's like 2.5, 3 hours go by. I mean, we play all fucking day. So that's one thing I think is that same-gender sexual encounters last a lot longer.
No, see, I think that's skewed. Because how about relationship status? Okay, so like when I first meet a girl, if I'm into her, oh yeah, we'll slay in bed and fuck around all day.
Yeah.
I think, you know. But,
Yeah, I've done that.
You date them, you get to know them, you can get married to them. That shit just kind of,
Yeah, 2 hours turns into 20 minutes after about 5 years.
Right.
We're doing the internet sex thing now. You got 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, we already heard this piece already, but I just thought I'd maybe chop that up and use that for one of the comedy pieces.
Oh, perfect intro.
Yeah, I mean, we're already talking about blowjobs. You already went into the sex area,
Right.
so it kind of set it up really nicely by accident. Or maybe not.
Like this morning, I woke up face down on a mat. Matt Johnson, great guy, loved him. Anyway, and my other favorite one is when people aren't paying attention. Oh my God, I'm so energized. I spent the last 2 hours working out inside of a gym. Jim Brannick, and then he got up and got dressed and went to work, and then I got a cup of coffee, got out of bed, and started my
Yeah, that's I miss real sex though.
walk.
What, like the HBO?
Right, yeah, the HBO series.
I mean, it's so complicated, it's annoying, and it never goes home. It's always there for breakfast. I mean, Jesus Christ. The internet sex, seriously, you got all that free time. You can clean up in a minute, you know. You don't have socks and underwear to pick up. In-laws dropping by. It's not smoking your herb. It's not eating your food, leaving you a mess in the kitchen and bitching at you because you're not perfect. Fuck you. I love my blow-up dolls and my sex.
That's funny because I was gonna compare using a vaporizer to fucking a blow-up doll.
Yeah, right?
I mean, you know, you still get off, but you know the payoff's just not there. You know, I mean, it's.
Well, if you want the payoff to hug you and wake up with you every morning and breathe nasty breath in your face and tell you that they want a paycheck by Friday or you ain't shit, oh, by the way, Mom's going to be here for dinner tonight, then you can have that payoff, motherfucker. I'm happy to be all alone.
I don't know. How do guys type at the same time? Like, how do they, like...
Okay.
Welcome back to Hollywood Hemptress Hour. Oh wow.
Ow.
Welcome back to Hollywood Hemptress Hour. I'm Terry Joyce. I'm your host. We are on the Time for Hemp Network, and you're listening to iHeartRadio. And that girl, or the last piece of stand-up comedy, is actually a clip from my own show in Richland, Washington. Pretty soon we'll have other comics just besides me, but here this is what we're doing right now. So that's me, Terry Joyce, talking about myself after I've already played myself. So anyway, welcome back to the show. I'm with Kevin Korn and North Blatt Forsgren from the show Trips and Hardcore Entertainment. Also, special guest is Rusty Diamond. He is the champion open micer.
Rusty's speaker up. Fingers down, Russ.
Okay. I thought. Which one?
The horn echo.
One of us has our speakers on. Which one is it?
Who's got speakers on?
Yeah. Let me see.
Not me.
Is that better?
Some.
Okay.
There we go. Hold on. Is it coming from me?
I turned my I mean, all I have is my own volume from my computer.
That took care of it.
Okay, then maybe it was me. Sorry about that, guys.
I interrupt and step on your introduction. That's inappropriate for the board off, but really nobody could hear it because of your echo, so I had to.
Oh yeah, that's not a problem. And besides, this is Casper Leach. He's the he is Time for Hemp, and so you can interrupt anytime, Casper.
If I did, it's only because I see a need to make the show.
Absolutely, that's not a problem. Thank you for letting me know that, or maybe I mean, we got to clear it up, right? Got to clear it up.
Yes.
So anyways, welcome back to Hollywood Hempress Hour. We're on the Time for Hemp Network at iHeartRadio, and I'm with Rusty Diamond here. And so, Rusty, we were talking about your vapor pen, and we got into a whole phallic conversation about other things too as well. But one thing I do want to transition to is now, why do you call yourself the champion open micer? Are you just open micing right now? Have you worked professionally yet?
I was given that title. That's the only YouTube video I have up of myself as a doing stand up. Yeah, my friend Steve Magnuson is a comic here as well.
Uh-huh.
Video, and so that's the reason I'm self-proclaimed, not self-proclaimed open mic champion, but I've done a couple, like 2 or 3 shows before I left to move to Idaho, but I haven't really done much since I got back. I did a few up there, but there's not much of a comedy scene up there. I was up in Sandpoint, Idaho, which is about an hour and a half east of Spokane and about an hour north of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which is right smack in the middle of nowhere. So I just kind of went up there and kind of took a break from everything, and I hit up a few mics up there, but it ended up being just in the middle of a jazz night or something at a country club bar or something, or I did this other one in this town called Hayden, which is right next to Coeur d'Alene, and it was this bar. It was just like another music open night. I just kind of went in where they let me talk, and I went in there and it was like I'm not putting down the white power movement, but the white power movement was very, very strong up there. So
where's Hayden close to?
It's like right next to Coeur d'Alene.
Okay.
Which is yeah.
It's weird that you mentioned the white power movement. I had a little bit of a weird happen in Idaho Falls, or was it Twin Falls? Twin Falls, Idaho. It was a place that I go to all the time, and this girl came up to me and she goes, I want to do stand up. And I'm like, oh great. And she tells me this joke where she did the Hi Hitler thing at the end with her arm, and I'm like, what? That's your punchline? Like where would you do that at? I wouldn't do that in LA if I were you. Like, it's like most of Hollywood is Jewish. I don't know if you know that. I mean, it was just kind of. I mean, not that I'm being trite like that, but it literally my jaw dropped, and I.
Have you been to Quarter Lane?
What? Well, this wasn't Coeur d'Alene. This was Twin Falls or
Quarter
Idaho
Lane,
Falls.
Idaho, pretty much. I mean, that's probably like the one of the like couple of states you could actually get away with that. And they're known.
I have to agree.
That's where they all go. I mean, they have racist compounds and stuff up there. That's a.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's the march in April every year of the big,
Yeah, they have the Nazi march there every year. Correct. Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very. That's where they go.
on April 20th.
Oh, they do that on 420 day.
It's
Hitler's birthday.
Oh well,
Hitler's birthday.
darn it. He has to ruin everything, doesn't he? I knew that.
Exactly, yeah.
I knew it was his birthday. But I didn't realize. I mean, we got to take that parade away from them. I mean, they can't do
You know
it.
what?
What?
That's what really it's the one place in the country that they have, and Idaho's accepted them. They pay their taxes apparently, so they kind of let them do it.
It was weird. There were a few rap artists one night when I was in Idaho, and one of the girls, like we were hanging out talking, and we took a picture together. It's up on my Facebook page, and I bonded with them. We combined our merch tables together and everything, and I was really impressed with her as a businesswoman. But then she goes, "Oh, hey, I'm going on stage right now," and she had this song, and she's like, "Nazi, Nazi, Nazi," and she's like, and I'm like, "Oh my God, where am I?" It was just so. For me, I mean, for me personally, I haven't had that kind of experience. Rusty, I kind of interrupt on your story. So you were at this club and you found that it seemed to be pro white brotherhood, or
Yeah. I kind of already knew it going in. I went into this place and I was up there, and you can smoke cigarettes at this bar, which was pretty awesome. And I was super stoked about that being on stage, and it was just kind of an open place, and so people were talking and stuff when I was doing my set, and having like a professional wrestling background, I like to let people do that, sometimes, and I just have fun with them, and so this first guy came up and he said, "Oh, I want to tell a joke," and I'm like, "Oh, sure, man, here, come tell a joke, come up here and tell a joke, I'll stand here with you," and so he comes up and tells a joke, because I had just talked about a little earlier that in the that I had moved up there, and I had I wasn't really working. I had just quit my job up there in Idaho and was about to travel back to Portland. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm just some unemployed Portland guy. And I haven't had a car since the day that Obama got inaugurated. I'm not putting that on him, but it just was a coincidence, and they loved that, and
they loved it.
And they loved that joke. And so this guy came up on stage, and so I guess from that his joke said, he went like right into it, and he said, what do you? I don't want to fucking glorify what he was saying, but he said, what's it called? Two black people having sex, and then he said like fucking, and then the N words, but he actually said that, and I just like stood there just like mouth open, there was and there was some laughs and claps and stuff, and then this other guy next to him like says, "Oh, I want to tell a joke too. I want to tell a joke too." And I'm like, sure, man, if it can't be fucking, better than this one. So he comes up and he's like, okay, what is an N-word? He didn't even say, like, anything else, just straight into it. It's like, yeah, what was the N-word say when he fucking fell off the back of a zebra? And I'm just like, I don't know, I stood there and I'm just like, standing there, my arms just out. I'm like, well, this really going on?
Oh my God! Do these people smoke, Rusty? Do these people smoke weed?
No, it's fucking impossible to smoke weed up there. These people, you have to go out into the middle of nowhere. You can't just like go stand outside the Sonic Lounge and smoke up. You have to know somebody that lives out in the middle of nowhere. You go out there and smoke there.
It's like Utah.
It's like Utah, yeah. There's plenty of places in the middle of nowhere, and it's fucking great to go and smoke out there, but you go anywhere in the society, you better fucking not have that shit on you.
That's interesting. I found, well, Northblatt said it's like Utah. It's like, I think it sounds worse than Utah almost.
Yeah, it was, I haven't been to Utah, but up there it's, very, very zero tolerance, and the people that I met up there who smoked were really sketch about it, really plumb.
All right, we're going to take a break right now. We got to take a commercial break. Sorry to interrupt. We'll be right back.
All right.
Northblatt. I'm hearing myself come through your speaker.
Really?
Yeah. I think like maybe just turn it down like halfway down.
Time for Hemp's like.
Because I'm just running off the speaker on my computer.
Yeah, me too. I think maybe I don't know why, but it seems hot tonight for some reason. But yeah.
And I hear echo. Dwight, can you turn your sound down just a little bit?
There, I just turned mine down.
Okay. All right, that's better. I had it.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
That's good then?
That's good then.
Okay.
It's not often I tell a guy that fully dressed, but yes, that's good then.
Rusty, thanks for your story. I love, you sharing your experience in Idaho.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was some, I didn't want to out there, but that was what was happening. That shit just fucking blew my mind watching that going on, and everyone was just so excited to get up there, and just, I guess the punchline basically was getting up there to yell out the N-word, and I guess that's a punchline now, but.
Hey, Russ, can you turn your speaker down?
Is my speaker?
I'm on a phone.
Well, someone's speaker back here.
I'm not on speakerphone.
No, I'm on the computer, but I turned it down.
All right.
Turned it down a bit.
There's no echo you. But how about you?
Is it me?
Now, well, let Kevin talk first. Kevin.
Yeah, I'm here. My volume's turned way down.
All right. And Russ, Darman, go ahead and say something.
Yes, is this working? Is it working?
It's either you or Tara.
All right, is it me?
We're gonna find out.
Hello?
Karen's back. All right, Russ, I'm gonna disconnect you and call you back.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so the echo's still there.
I can hear an echo off of everybody.
Yeah, I can hear everybody talking too.
Hello?
Now hold on, I'm gonna disconnect Kevin. See if it's there. All right, go ahead, talk.
Hello?
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 So, Kevin.
He's not on yet. so I'm thinking something really good here. We need to put the trip's name on a whole like line of aluminum foil hats.
Right?
That's funny.
I think aluminum foil hats by trips. I think they would sell.
You will have your kids stuff taken, and we'll find out.
I think so. Shit, yeah. Aaron, did you want to hear the song "Kinda High" and for your coming back in?
Sure, that'd be great.
It's by the Tall Brothers. Remember how you were talking about how remembering people's names, the short-term memory?
Yeah.
This is the song dedicated to that by the Tall Brothers.
Oh, that's great.
I've done stuff thinking you. All y'all, if you ain't talking, just mute yourself. That might even help the echo problems too. If you all just mute when you ain't talking.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We use a substance that when they happen almost always have rules. These influences are a 220-year sentence for Mr. Lack, but hundreds of thousands of marijuana arrests continue each year. The insanity must stop. I would encourage you to get involved with an organization around your neighborhood, in your neck of the woods, and also if you get a chance to alternet.org and find some information.
Don't I sound good with a lot of bass in my voice?
Yeah.
This has been a Time for Hemp news break. Thank you for joining.
I'm kinda high. Let me excuse myself. But it seems like it's just moments since we met. I'm kinda high. Let me introduce myself. Did we meet before, or am I just kinda high? If you think it a little strange, dear, take a puff on this and then you take my sweet bang girl when I sing it again. I'm kinda high. Let me excuse myself. But it seems like it's just moments since we met. I'm kinda high. Let me introduce myself. Did we meet before, or am I just kinda high? I'm kinda high. Let me excuse myself. But it seems like it's just moments since we met. I'm kinda high. Let me introduce myself. Meet before, or am I just kinda high? If you think it a little strange, dear, take a puff on this and then you dig my sleeping back out when I sing it again. I'm kinda high. Let me excuse myself. But it seems like it's just moments since we met. I'm kinda high. Let me introduce
Welcome back to Hollywood Hempress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network. That was the Tall Brothers that you just listened to, and sort of complimentary to me talking about how sometimes when you smoke weed and you meet people for the first time, you just don't remember their name. And what does it matter, anyways, right? What's in a name? I don't know what you guys did on the break, but I just smoked some bud, and I'm now. And you know what else I did? I brought a mask with me tonight. I have like this sort of like Mardi Gras mask that I decided to wear just for the hell of it for myself. And I do. And guess what? I have 2 viewers watching me on UStream, so I think it's kind of I put it on once people. Well, never mind. And I think it's weird to like smoke a pipe out of with a mask on, but I'm entertaining myself, but nobody can see that on the air, so who cares? All right, so we're back with my co-host Kevin Korn from Hardcore Entertainment and North Blatt Forsgren, also from our show Trips that we do after hours after we go from here, and my guest Rusty Diamond, a special guest, talking to us about how horrible it was, how Nazi it was in Idaho as an entertainer, and there was no weed, which really sucks. And I wonder if there's like a correlation between weed smoking and people not being all about one love. Does anybody think there's a correlation between that?
I don't know too many people who Heil Hitler and smoke a joint at the same time.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think I ever saw it. I never got to meet those people. I was only there for 2 months, but maybe, I don't know, I like to think that they, I don't know, maybe they do it on the down low, and they're kind of the black sheep, but I'm pretty sure, most of them are not too friendly with the whole getting stoned, so, yeah. You know, they're, I don't know, it's not for me. I was, I could have gone down that path. I could have,
Yeah, well, maybe,
I was, yeah.
maybe we all could have gone down that path, but we didn't. I don't know. I find it perplexing, interesting to go to different parts of the country and, to realize that these things exist. And then also there's a different kind of feeling about marijuana and the laws in each state, and each person responds to what that material is differently. And it's all very, very fascinating. Um, One thing I do want to, this is the part of the show, this is like the Freedom of Joyce hour is what I call it, and this is where we can, like, if we want to, we can smoke a big bowl and, put on our tin hats and, like, talk about things that, I don't know, might be going on in the world, or might actually have a controversial theory around those subject matters. I don't know about anybody else out there, but I love to like take a big old bong hit, or smoke some weed and just get into these really in-depth conversations about what might be going on in the world, because you know what? There's some weird stuff going on right now. It's, at least I feel it this way. Now, again, if the person who doesn't, share my view might go, well, you know what? Maybe you think that way just because you're smoking too much weed. But, either way, I've tested it. I've not smoked weed and go, hey, does the world still look weird to you? Yes, it does. And whether I think that smoking weed actually helps me dissect it and deal with it. And so I say, in order to get through these weird times, you just pull out that joint and don't you feel any guilt about it, baby. Just go ahead and smoke it. So one of the things I want to bring up right now is we actually touched upon it on the last show. And we lost Kevin for a second. Oh, he's back. Okay, cool. We talked about the TSA shooting at LAX, and it's pretty much gotten even weirder now. So, any thought? And there was something that we talked about on the After Hours show that actually came out in the media as being a fact. So, Kevin, I want to start with you. What are your thoughts about what's going on surrounding that incident right now?
I'm pretty sure this was my last straw for me to realize that I am like internally bugged somewhere, because like the last 3 years, I'm pretty sure I come up with crazy things, and then like usually it's not this fast. Usually it's a few months later, I see it and I'm like, how did somebody else come up with that? Like what? This one really made me angry because I kind of went on my own rant and rave Friday night about the LAX shooting, saying that it was all a red flag thing to get TSA armed, because TSA is getting the new government contracts to start patrolling all of our sporting events hard, not just airports. And I said this was all fake so they could get guns. Now they could put them in those places and then arm them. They could basically militarize our, our cities and states. And, I kind of did this. And then this morning, USA Today put out this article saying that the union leader for TSA asked the government to arm them. And then I guess this was the topic of Lars Larson's radio show all day, which is a popular radio show here in Pacific Northwest. And I was just like, wow, I said this Friday night and I was called crazy, and then Monday morning it's the truth. How awesome is that?
Well,
All the time, Kevin.
Don't you feel that it's kind of like putting the puzzles, the pieces of the puzzle together? Like you see something happen, and then you go, okay, well, I feel that this is going to happen, and this is like if you think about things becoming militarized, or the incidents that happen. My feeling is that I've watched all the it started. It seems like there's always there's a shooting, and then there's a shooting here, and they seem to kind of go in like patterns or spurts. There's not just one. There's two. There's three. There's the Boston bombing. They all seem to be like happening, and they all kind of have something to do with firearms. The more that it happens, the more the media pushes harder to take it away, the more that there's the NRA having their issues with it. And again, one of the ways that this also affects people who smoke marijuana or who are, possibly, marijuana patients, you could be a patient, and because of the fact that you are a patient and you are in possession of marijuana, you are not allowed to carry firearms legally. So these are the firearm issue, the Second Amendment issue, I don't think is really going to go away. And my opinion is that not only do we see maybe false flag operations going down, but we also see a campaign of anti-gun going on, like the way President Obama comes out and speaks about it, and then they go into the mainstream media goes into all the sympathy and I don't want to seem like I'm heartless. I for one, it would please, my heart goes out to anybody who has suffered from this. But when you look at television and you watch how I know how it goes. I see it because I've participated in it. You see them chop over their commercials and their little sound bites and everything else. And it just feels very manipulated to disarm people and then to put guns into, say, TSA agents. Seems like, wait a second, you're giving guns to certain people and you're not allowing other certain people to have guns. And so,
It seems to me like all of this 21. It seems to me like it's very coincidental that we're going through one of the largest, one of the biggest times to actually have our Second Amendment rights taken away. All right, this is a big thing. And then all of a sudden, all of these fucking shootings with AR-15s go down, and when are they they go down just about every 3 to 4 weeks, It seems like, I'm not saying that this is the first administration to use false flag, tactics.
Uh-huh.
However, I do feel that this is the most blatant that any administration has been about presenting false flags to the public.
Yeah, so you want to know what their argument to that is? Well, if that's the truth, at least we're only killing one person instead of killing tens of thousands at a time.
One of the
And to me, it's almost like, well, if you did take tens of thousands at a time, maybe you could have accomplished something.
I think Casper has a thought that he wants to share on that.
One of the things that totally blew my mind this evening watching the news is that there was a child, I think in Texas, about 9 years old, 10 years old, that has been expelled from school for like a month or more, maybe even longer, because he drew a picture of a ninja that he dressed up as for Halloween, just here recently, that had a weapon in the picture.
Uh-huh.
And like a stick figure. I mean, it wasn't like anything that, Picasso could do or whatever. I mean, it was just a picture of a ninja that had like a little gun. And because he drew a picture of a gun, he has been expelled from school for like 30 days or more.
This was in Texas?
Yeah, and today. I mean, as they put it, we're teaching kids that if you're so afraid of the shadow, oh my God, I think it's going to be safe for your kid to go out the door. Gee.
Well, and then why wouldn't that kid like do a picture of a gun? I mean, like when you go to the grocery store, doesn't he have a whole aisle of plastic guns that he could buy? I mean, like kids.
There was a kid making a gun, with his fingers that got fucking expelled from school, Some 7-year-old kid made a fucking gun gesture with his finger, and the teacher decided that was fucking, violent.
I have a friend that actually was at a Halloween party, and they were dressed up as cops or something, or cops came in and they thought the cops weren't real, and so or something, and they had a fake gun, and they put the gun out to like shoot at them, and the cops shot him dead, and it was a toy gun. So
That just happened in Seattle last week.
really.
Washington.
I mean, so even the toy guns, look like they're real. I mean, like we have a culture that's trained people to want to have guns in the first place. I don't even see how you can penalize a child like that for even drawing a picture.
I don't believe that these kids are being shot, or people are being shot with fake guns because they have fake guns. I think they're being shot because we're in a shoot first society. These cops shoot out of fear because they're not properly trained. They're not supposed to just go, oh my God, that guy's got a gun, I'm going to pull out and empty 2 clips in him.
Uh-huh.
That's what they do. And so my point is, it's not these kids' fault, that they're getting shot. You're right. When I grew up, I had water guns, I had toy guns. If I was in my yard playing and a cop stopped at the stop sign and I turned 21 at the car, if that cop would have hopped out and emptied 2 clips in me, I'm pretty sure, that cop would have been in trouble. But nowadays that happens and it's like, well, that kid pointed the gun at him. He did his job. And we're supposed to be okay with that. Well, I'm not.
Okay, on that, we're going to come right back. We have to take a really quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Hold that thought, Kevin. We'll be talking more about the recent gun shootings and, what we feel might be going on right now in terms of our gun laws. We'll be right back. Rusty, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I could see people just falling in and out during the whole.
I'm gonna fall out for a second. I need to go get a bowl. I fucking left everything in the trailer.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
When did you want to play your other piece, which is what, take a look here, medicinal rock music, pass it on?
Yeah, you know what? I'll play that after we come back from the second break.
Okay.
And I'll actually introduce it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got I think it'll fit with like a little bit of the theme to what we've been doing. It's a friend of mine who they sent me this MP3, and but the person wants to keep anonymous. It's a song about medical marijuana, and it's called "Roll It." But they.
Other sign that the.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's an anonymous musician, but it's pretty cool. It's good.
Oh, that rocks.
Yeah, and it's like 4 minutes though, so it's gonna be a pretty long little spot.
Oh, it's a cool little song. Are we allowed to play it on other shows, or just...
Yeah, we can play it on other shows.
Okay, I'll play it on my show too.
Yeah, please do. I mean, they've given it to me to use.
And I'll announce that it was written and recorded by Barack Obama and his lovely wife Michelle.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was supposed to say anonymous.
Anonymous, yeah. It's
anonymous. Sorry, Michelle.
and I don't think it's the anonymous. It'd be funny, but like, oh, it's by anonymous. You mean anonymous? Yeah, we should.
Oh, we'll do that.
Okay.
That was by Anonymous.
It's by Anonymous.
And then I wonder if they're hacking anything tonight on the internet.
Ready for, yeah, today's the day. Today is the day.
Oh, yeah, so you can even promote that little thing that's supposedly where they're going to be hacking.
Yeah, tomorrow's, I mean, it's the 5th right now, technically.
Right.
Yep.
It's the 5th of November.
Yep. All right, we're going to come back here and let's see, 35 seconds.
To be honest, straight from the shoulder. It's not like Ralph Nader always being for industrial hemp. Yeah, that must be a dog whistle because I don't hear it.
There's nothing to say once you said, yes, I inhaled. Then what? Nothing. The thing people can't stand is the lie.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
Imagine a town where there are no small joints, just all stoners. Where Coach is the girl's best friend, and law breaking is the new liberty. It's the Hollywood Hemper's Hour, hosted by your honey block hemperess, Terry Joyce.
And we're back at Hollywood Hempress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network on iHeartRadio. I'm Terry Joyce. I'm your host. With me is Kevin Korn and North Blatt Forsgren. They are co-hosting with me all week, as well as Rusty Diamond, special guest, comedy extraordinaire, champion open micer, the world's champion, the world's greatest, the world's most amazing, and he was a wrestler too, and you know, and a great and a professional pot smoker. I'm sorry, I'm cracking myself up right now. Anyway, we were talking about gun control and also arming more security with guns. And the LAX shooting and well, let's just point blank. I mean, do you guys think it's a false flag?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind. The whole thing was aimed so they could get, I mean, I said that instantly. Like, one, how did this guy get this gun back there? Two, how did he open fire and only hit one person, and that person happened to be a TSA agent? I was like, it was just too convenient. And so I said that right away, and then boom, there it became true. But the whole idea is that now they're going to place these people. See, what people aren't talking about is the contract TSA got. Okay? This is what people aren't talking about. TSA is contracted not only to start doing, not only do they do all the airports, but they're about to start doing all sporting events, concerts, marathons, basically major public places that have security are now going to be working under the authority of TSA. Now if we arm these people, right, and then not only do we arm them, but we strip us of our weapons, right?
Right.
People are already a shoot-first mentality. All they have to do is be told, well, if you want to keep your paycheck, start making these people line up. Put them in these bands. Well, you know, they can do whatever they want. That's what I'm saying. And they're placing them everywhere strategically. It's like, have you ever played Risk? It's like the board game Risk. Only you're playing it on one country right now, right? Just the one country. You have these different little areas. They're placing their armies in them. They're just waiting for battle.
It's Obama's SS.
It's Agenda 21 in full effect.
It is essentially what the SS was during World War II.
Right?
It is Obama's own personal elite fucking security service.
Yep.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. It's starting to make me a little uncomfortable. I mean, because you start to watch it happen, and you start to see it happen in front of your face. You're going, no. Now I know that. Yeah, let's all put our tin hats on and smoke a joint, right? But that's a joke in a sense, because I don't see how you can't see it happening. I mean, I watched some YouTube videos today. I posted it in our Trips forum, and you know, people are beginning to be like almost, they're being humorous about it now. Even when they reveal their footage that they show, they had, one of the main captain police dude come up and like make his testimony about what went down and how wonderful the police force was, in doing their duty and confiscating, the person and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And while he's saying it, he actually openly admits how they had been practicing a drill just like it for like 3 weeks and were practicing the drill as it happened. And you can see, I think it might have been like a politician or, whomever, but it was somebody who is nicely dressed and wearing a suit. So it obviously looks like he's on team council member something. And you could see him just cover his face like, oh my god, he like it's like oh, like it's almost like I wish I had a V8 kind of thing, and you can just see where the guy went, he just messed up. Like right now, it seems that they're unusually sloppy with what they're what.
Notice the dummy in the wheelchair?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
I mean, that was about as fucking obvious as you can get. It was a fucking dummy. It was a
Right.
goddamn crash test dummy in a wheelchair.
Well, I mean,
It was
so
fucking blatant.
yeah, I mean, it might as well have been a sex blow-up doll, I mean, it was really blatant, and it just seems so weird. And then they also showed these two hosts. I guess they like one of the network shows or whatever, and they're profiling him as being a New World Order conspiracy theorist that went crazy with his gun. So they're actually even targeting people like you and me who are talking about this. I mean, I'm like laughing about it right now, but yeah, I mean,
Have you ever tried to go through the fucking airport with a goddamn paperclip in your pocket? What the fuck did this guy get an AR-15 through the goddamn 15 security checkpoint?
No shit, that's what I said too.
I mean, Jesus Christ, I don't care if the fucker's put together or not. I can't get a goddamn water bottle through fucking TSA.
I have noticed that TSA agents have no problem when a politician goes through with their head up their ass.
Well, that's just one place they don't have to check. They don't have to get their hands dirty.
yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of things to be questioned. Do you think though? Here, and I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking. Do you think maybe that that's sloppy to us on purpose? Like they're actually showing themselves messing up on purpose?
And the reason why is they're doing it sloppy, and that means that people like you and I and on the internet and all around the world, we will talk about it there and talk about it to everybody that we can. And they got the mainstream media to ignore it. And then the mainstream media turns around and calls us kooks and whacks and conspiracy nuts because they got these mommies and daddies pretending that their babies died or their spouses died, talking about gun control. And then that way they're able, and a lot of people don't even go search it for themselves. They don't even have internet. They don't have time to access internet. And they think that when they see stuff like that on the internet, it was just to make people think that. And so they are deliberately giving us something to run with so that we will run with it, so they can paint us with that brush.
Well, there's still that feeling, it's that generation gap that we were talking about earlier. There's still that feeling of, oh, our government wouldn't do that to us. And it fucking sickens me because, I mean, really, honestly, the whole fucking agenda of any government is to throw out the people. It's for whole fucking control over the people. I mean, that's the point. I mean, government, when you break down what government means, it's mind control. That's what the fucking base of the word govern and meant means. I mean, and so when people say that, the government wouldn't do that to us, I go, fuck you. Government will do whatever they fucking can. And whether that is misinformation, whether that's false flag events, I mean, they're going to do whatever they can to get control. I mean, especially in a government that's supposed to be ruled by the people. In a government ruled by the people, the only enemy to the government is the people.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't, I caught myself, and when stuff like this is happening, you know, I kind of give it a moment, I used to give it a moment and go, all right, is there mind control thing involved with this? Is it a false flag? You know, when the Colorado shooting happened, one of the things that tipped me off was like they go, oh, and he went in during the premiere of, or the showing of, not premiere, of Batman. And I was like, Batman, you know, I mean, you know, and I thought, oh man, did he dress up like the Joker? And then he did. And then I had it, I looked, I searched on the internet for a while, like, if something's got to come up on this. And, you know, now it has. You know, but it seems like, you know, from that point to this point, it comes up a lot faster. I mean, even when the Boston bombing happened, there were people already showing false flag evidence through my timeline on Facebook immediately while it was still happening.
There
And
was,
and
that's the Sandy Hook thing that made it so much more. I mean, I was sitting at home listening to CNN with my back turned to the TV set like most people, and then all of a sudden you get Robbie Parker coming out live within 12 hours of his baby being shot and killed and hauled off to Washington, and no looking at the body. He's all dressed and giggling and laughing on TV, and I sit in the corner of my eye. Then all of a sudden I see his face go from giggling and laughing to serious actor, making all serious, and I thought, wait a minute, I didn't just see that, did I? So I sort of, I began to look a little closer. Then when I began to recode this stuff about how parents are crying, and look at the character actors in the background just running around in circles at the fire department, and I look at the stupid shit that's going on here, please pay attention. People jumped on my ass like I was some kind of monster because I was talking about these dead babies not being really dead. And I was a cold-hearted bastard for turning my back on these grieving parents. I'm thinking, grieving parents, my fucking ass. I don't see one goddamn tear coming out of any bitch's eye. Excuse me, get your shit together. And then this argument started coming up. Then I began getting distracted from my own work in the movement too. So it's being used for a lot of reasons. And you can't convince people. I mean, it took a while. Anybody who's got real kids who watch these parents react go, oh my God, that's a false flag.
Well, it's like 9/11. It's the same kind of thing. You try to bring up 9/11 to most people, and they go fucking all, clear, droopy-eyed, and fucking and go off into their own little world because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to believe that our government would do something like that to us. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. And then they don't believe that a group of people could get together and keep all that quiet. I mean, you get Casper. If you had that many people involved, wouldn't somebody know about it? I mean, really, Casper.
No, the CIA has proved with compartmentalization that it works. You know, I mean, compartmentalization does.
well, it doesn't. I mean, the thing of it is that something doesn't smell right. I mean, you know, you start to, eventually people wake up, and I find the people that start to bash you down, it's like sheep. You know, the other sheep will tell the one sheep that it needs to get back in line because it's having pressure from a societal moral control, which happens to be in many ways from the television. And
Most definitely. But after I just took it, what I've come up with is I think that they know people are getting enlightened, and I think they know people are starting to become aware to their agenda. So they're putting it in overdrive, and they're actually ramping up the pace of what they're doing. They're seeing them come a lot faster, these false flags, a lot quicker. You know, you're going to see TSA get put in place. They're going to arm them. I mean, this is happening. They basically got all their chess pieces, they got all their pieces on the board, and they've been slowly moving them. But now they're ready to go into the kill. They're ready to go into the checkmate. And so they're moving all their pieces strategically, and it's happening faster and faster. And I think it's because the people are becoming increasingly aware. So because the more aware we get, the faster they're trying to move their pieces.
And that's the linchpin, Kevin. They're going to linchpin it with the economy. Just as soon as they let the economy take a tank, and after 60 days of not getting paychecks, 80% of the country not getting paychecks and having to move into the street, they know for a fact that we're going to riot and rebel.
Well, they just tested it on government employees.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, you're saying the shutdown was like a test to see how people were going to be reacted about being like.
Not the politician guys, like the ones in charge, because they take those 2 weeks off every year. Sometimes they call it a furlough. Sometimes they call it a sequester. I mean, every freaking year.
Sometimes it's a fucking vacation.
But it's the state workers, like the park workers and all the other FDA workers, all these other agency workers that didn't get paid for 2.5 weeks that were kind of left holding the bag. You know what I'm saying? And I think they were a test run, yes, to see, like, let's see what happens.
You know, I want to ask Rusty. He hasn't like jumped in here for a minute. Rusty, how do you feel about this? Do you think it's a false flag, or what are your feelings on that?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I was when they had that Christmas tree bombing attempt or whatever down in Portland a few years ago. I just happened to be walking by there, just random coincidence, and I just remember I just seeing this. There's a shitload of people, and there's no way, as soon as that thing happened, I started talking out about it, and people immediately thought I was crazy, and, I ever since, I don't know, at least, since 9/11 or whatever, I've been definitely, looking into a lot more stuff, and with it everything being so readily available on the internet, it just, as soon as I thought I knew something was, just some sort of fake,
Well, it was that act, that event that got us signed up to the Patriot Act, Oregon.
Yeah, we were the last one.
Oregon was one of the last ones to sign up to the Patriot Act. It was that bombing, that Christmas tree bombing that fucking made Mayor Adams fucking sign it up.
They set that poor kid up. They brought him from another country, gave him a visa, put him in a dorm room for 90 days, and then put him in a van, and then arrested him. That poor kid.
Right? None of them a bomb, he's all
He wanted slavery. We went to another country, picked him up, put him on a boat, brought him over here, treated him like he was a king for a couple of days, and then told him to go kick some fucking guns. That's what we did. And then when he said no, we locked him up for it. And technically, where's he at now? Did we lock him up, or did we just deport him and send him home?
Has anybody even heard of this kid since?
But what's interesting is to see the amount of YouTube videos that are out there claiming certain things and calling a false flag and showing this footage of, say the police officer talking about how, they were doing a drill and blah, 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 and the reaction and the guy with the dummy footage. I mean, it's pretty, and these videos are getting like 42,000 hits in like 3 days. I mean, people are watching it on a big level. I have conversations with people that aren't even in the United States. I mean, like they're in India, and they go, so do you think the shooting is a false, do they think, did people believe it was set up? I mean, even people across the globe suspect that this is what's going on, and they're asking us if we see it.
So many of these kind of fucking events have gone down successively, like over and over and over and over again. I mean, we've never been that fucking shitty at our own fucking inland security. It seems like since we've developed homeland security, the fucking inland terrorism has fucking risen like hundreds of percentages. Yep.
Well, on that we do have to take a commercial break. We're so heated here, but because this is definitely a hot topic right now, and we'll be right back with more.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we're on break.
I would love to have a show called False Flags in this network. I can't do it on my show because once I start doing that, then all the information about hemp gets painted as one big stroke brush of the Black Chick experience, Casper Lee's talking about that marijuana shit. And as long as on my show, all I talk about is paper, fiber, fuel, Ben Franklin, George Washington, car, auto. Fuck you. You can't touch me, Mr. DEA. All you can say is, yep, he's fucking right.
Right?
Everything else is theory. You talk about false flags because you weren't really physically there. It's just all hearsay, and it appears, blah, blah. And so therefore they can paint you with that brush. I'd love to have somebody come on at least once or twice a week and do a great 1 or 2 hours of all the false flags currently, all the URLs to check out, all the information that's come forward. This is what we're up to. If you motherfuckers better get your shit together, you're going to be this goddamn FEMA camp.
Yeah. No, you know what? I mean, I could. I mean, there may be someone I know that might be really good for that.
Seriously, but it's gotta be somebody who can't be like Alex Jones, like out there and wacky, and they're coming in and put on.
Yeah, that's kind of a turnoff.
That's what I mean. I say it comes off very intelligent, very thoroughly researched, very methodical in the presentation, very matter of fact. And if you don't like it, then check it out yourself, bitches, because this is the facts. And when you check it out yourself, you'll have the same conclusion. And if you don't check it out yourself, fuck you, leave me alone. Here's the facts. That's the kind of person I want.
You go on and read off all the members of the Bilderbergs and all the members of the CFR and their correlations with various industries and various corporations.
Exactly, but it's got to be somebody who can come on with like a nice authority, like if you were like the Howlands of religion or the somebody like. So if anybody out there knows somebody who's fucking around with our little network would be happy to do a 1 or 2 hour presentation a few times a week on false flags and all of that, I would love to have them part of our team.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I do feel like some of this I mean, this information is hot, and not just because, and I do feel that people want to, there are people listening to this. I mean, I think this is important. It's important, even to take the risk of, like, that's why I throw it in here a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, yeah. And
the whole show on this, that way we can leave it right there in that 1 or 2 hours, and we can make sure it's on the network so people can find it, and then we can get about our own business and talk about all the other stuff.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a good stepping stone for that kind of thing. I think you're right, though. You definitely need a false flag show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you can help me
to the point where you could get a new one every week.
And if you can help me find someone who'd be interested, because like the people I rang up to be part of my network are people who've been fighting in the trenches alongside me. They know how I work. They know I'm a ball of love. They know I do my shit. I'm good for my word. Blah blah blah. And they know I believe in them, and together we are trying to change the world with this. And it would be somebody who doesn't even know me, who'd have to have faith in what I'm doing and be willing to become part of our team just to get the message of the false flag out, and would realize that on our network they'd have a huge audience to be speaking to.
Well, I do know this one woman that does a show called The Truth Denied. And you know, she is, you know, she's on Revolution Radio, and she has a lot of like whistleblowers, and you know, like I really like her show. I'll give you like a couple of her links if you want to listen to her. I asked her to be a guest on my show, and she said yes. I've done her show before.
Okay.
But you know, she might, Roxy Lopez.
Yeah.
Roxy Lopez might be good at that. I think she would.
I think, she will, especially because she already does it. And it would, it would be hard for her to just, just record another hour.
Right.
And I'll give her the same deal that I'm giving. Well, yeah, I want her content, so, and I want her to feel at home. So she'll be one of the very few people outside of my family who will get the family deal.
And she's a musician too.
I mean, you know the family deal where you get all your ads for your hour.
Yeah.
All right. I just want this message to my audience because I can't speak it. When I do, people jump down my throat like I'm a fucking monster for saying such ugly things about people who are surviving such a horrible crisis. And I'm thinking, you sons of bitches, open your fucking eyes, you jackasses.
Dude, I thought the same thing when I saw him up there in front of that crowd of people laughing. And then all of a sudden fucking changed from fucking laughing and joking around to fucking straight face.
Yeah.
It made me fucking sick.
That was the moment in my past in life when I went, what the fuck? I began to review all the other things that might be possible.
Exactly.
And now begin, That was Robbie Parker who tipped me off to the fucking truth of being that jack. Anyway, we're down to about 30 seconds on this, but I want to change minds on that, and I can't do that with my hemp message. I gotta find somebody who can do it with this message.
On a policy project, 202-462-5747.
Time for Hemp is an educational tool that can be found in iTunes, on Spreaker, and of course at timeforhemp.com.
Welcome back to Hollywood Hemptress Hour. I'm Terry Joyce, your host. You are listening to the Time for Hemp Network, and we are also on iHeartRadio. Thank you so much for staying tuned. We've been discussing the recent LAX shooting, firearms, gun control, marijuana, and gun control. All of this plays out, and I feel that in many ways, we're all connected. Each issue touches the other issue somehow. And, for me, the running theme about all of this is freedom. It's the freedom of the cannabis plant. It's the freedom of, the right to bear arms. I'm personally, I wish like guns didn't even exist in our reality. But they do, but if we're all of equal people, then all of equal people should be able to have them. Being that you were not crazy, or that you would not, if you're certifiable crazy, you don't give, you don't give, a gun to a crazy person. But still, we're looking at this one right that's part of the Constitution of the United States, perhaps being manipulated in the most darkest of ways in order to force people to lose their arms. Any thoughts on that, guys?
That's exactly what they're doing. And you know what else they're doing that no one's talking about?
Uh-huh.
They're also stockpiling weapons and ammo. They are buying ammo. You know where your tax dollars are going? It's going to ammo. They're buying ammo by the $3.5 billion amount every few months. It's ridiculous.
Yep, I did. Yeah, a little bit comes across my little newsreel about once a month about Homeland Security just purchased however many millions of dollars worth of ammo.
Buying warehouses.
FEMA and fucking all the different government agencies that are buying ammo. The IRS just bought a record amount of fucking ammunition.
Yeah, why?
Right?
Yeah, it really does make you wonder. I've also heard that about the ammunition and all that kind of stuff happening, the buying of it, and it's just it kind of makes you wonder, like, what's going on? What are we in for?
Signing up to Obamacare, with only 6 people having signed up to Obamacare since it started, I'm willing to bet that is one way of recording everybody's information down onto one place very, very quickly and very, very easily without
That's what I tried to say. I'm trying to say that whole Obamacare and the whole website thing, or give us 200 pages of all your information so we can track you easier, and so we can know where you're going to be, when you're going to be there, how you're going to operate, what you're going to do.
All right, you guys. I'm gonna.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna finish that. Laura Flat, please finish your thought. But we're starting to run out of time here. So and this is a whole nother. I think this is a whole nother episode. But could you please, yeah.
So I was just gonna say that both Clinton and Bush tried with the gun control policy to get everybody to sign in a little book saying that they own a gun, and realize that, like the old saying goes, there's a gun behind every blade of grass in the United States, and that there was no way they were going to get a very accurate log of who had and who didn't have guns. So the next best way of calculating information aside from a census would be the healthcare, because they're going to give accurate answers because they want the best deal on fucking healthcare. Yet, with only 6 people signing up, it just doesn't sound like fucking it was something that was implemented correctly. And in fact, not just implemented correctly, it looks like it was actually implemented to be a fucking failure.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna cut in right here for a moment. There's we're getting down to the wire here, and there's a song that I wanted to play, which is gonna be about 4 minutes for a moment. But I wanted to get back and continue on our subject matter on healthcare, and also you can probably hear us talk about it after our trips. But this is a song that I got submitted to me by a friend who is anonymous, and it's not anonymous. It's actually just someone who wants to be anonymous about medical marijuana and rolling it as a joint because they too don't want to like still come out of the closet, but they want to have the song to be played on the airways because they care about the issue so much. So this is called "Roll It."
Okay, we can chat.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah, girlfriend. When I fuck my messages up on Craigslist, I get more than 6 responses. Sexaholic bottom in search of a rowdy top. Hell yeah.
The idea was, it's not that only 6 people have signed up, it's only 6 people have been accepted. Because through that 200-page questionnaire, they're finding ways and loopholes not to accept people. Which is what we were told, which is where the lie comes in. We were told they weren't able to not accept us. But that apparently hasn't been the case.
What do you mean not accept?
Okay, so that form where they take all this information from you, it's not really a form, it's more of an application.
Okay.
And so the system is reviewing the answers on your application and it's rejecting you. So it's not accepting you. It's saying we don't want to insure, the computer's saying we don't want to insure this person. It's basically like having that thing that was on Jeopardy.
Is it kind of like what, a bad account of income or what?
I don't know if that has to do with income or health issues or just whatever, but, in all honesty, I think the whole idea was, the whole thing was set up in the first place was a scam to get this information. It's all part of the process.
Information.
Yep.
I believe it because it's all going into the IRS's database.
Exactly.
Yep. The new money.
You're running down there. I mean, well, I'm going to have to pay all my fair share, or whatever the fuck that is, for the Time for Hemp Broadcasting Network, or whatever the fuck comes in, and I have to do that in regards to the fact that I am representing a team of people, and if I don't play their game the way they want me to, you all get shut down too. So,
yep.
So for the team, I'll take one. Oh God, have I said that before, girlfriend? Anyway, so for the team, I'll take one. But on my own personal level, on my own personal basis, I hide more money up my ass than Jack Benny did in his dungeon.
Oh, I'm right there with you.
When they bury me, 2 weeks later, you'll find 2 pounds of gold, motherfucker.
Yeah, but then you know that more people are going to be honest about their health care than they are about their fucking taxes.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Nobody saw it coming. Everybody saw it coming, and nobody saw it coming. It was the fucking ultimate rope-a-dope.
I couldn't believe it when a handful of people were saying, and they were black people who were saying it was that the reason why they wanted Obama to win the White House was so that the black community would not rebel. Had it been a white man in the White House and we were going to the same economic tribes, there would have been riots in the streets already.
That's probably a good point.
But they don't want to come up against Obama, the first black president.
Well, no, because he was gonna pay their rent, and they'd never have to buy gas again.
Now they're raising the gas prices and cutting the food stamps. Hello?
Oh my God.
Obama has been the best Republican president I've ever seen.
Exactly.
Oh man, I was cracking up about Social Security. You even see what that dipshit said yesterday? Social Security.
What?
He gave this speech about how to like Newsweek or whatever about how if they're not going to go broke, but like by 2033 they're just going to run out of the funds, but there'll still be people paying in. So therefore, if doesn't matter if the fund runs out, even though they're paying people out of both of them right now. So if the fund runs out, and I'm like, what he's not taking into accountability is the actual number of population of the number of people that actually pay in to the number of people who are going to need it, because you have baby boomers and Generation X by 20
down to 30.
that you're going to be paying for.
Okay, we're back in 30 seconds.
Fuck it.
And you're right too. When it goes empty, I don't care how much many people are putting into it. It's empty.
It's empty. Yeah.
And we're back with Hollywood Hempress Hour. That was Roll It by Anonymous. Anyway, that's our show tonight. It's actually 1:55. We're done with the show. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll be right back tomorrow night with Kevin Korn and North Platte Forsgren. We thank you so much for Rusty Diamond for being here today. Can we have you plug your website or where can our listeners find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, RustyDiamond0, or look up DLarryProWrestling.com or on the Facebook or Twitter, and you can find me on there, or on, I just did tonight, I did a podcast right before this on BCXradio.com, and that was on right before, and I believe that will do it. Those are the places to find me. I'll respond most of the time, or if you really want to get a hold of me, RustyDiamond0@gmail.com. You can email me.
Wow, you're courageous to give out your real email.
That's all right.
That's all right.
Emails, spam me.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And we thank you so much. You were wonderful. And again, I want to thank my co-host Kevin Korn and North Platte Forsgren. Tune into After Hours on the Freedom of Joyce Ustream channel. And good night. Casper, I'm sorry, I didn't time that one very well. I'm a couple minutes over.
Now, girlfriend, I don't care.
Okay.
Seriously, I don't care. Really, if we ever get all of our minutes sold on the damn network, and we really got advertisers who are coming down and reading I tuned in at the 17-minute mark, and I didn't hear my ad, I'll be calling you up going, girlfriend, we got to take care of these pissy people in the second hour and be prompt. But until I do something like that, you just don't worry about it. I mean, I remember I even said, we'll take the commercials about 17 or 18, just we're going to end the commercial, conversation so it's groovy.
Yeah.
I try to be so that you coming on is just the best part of your day every time you come on.
Well, and it is. We get to start each day out doing this, which is really cool.
Nice. Well, again, seriously, if you all find anybody who can talk about false flags, I'd love to. I would give them middle of the day. They can have 5 days a week, whatever.
I want to find Webster Tarpley and have them on as a guest. Who? Webster Tarpley. Look him up. YouTube, or Google, either one.
I will. If you guys know, maybe if we can't get somebody on right away doing a show, maybe you can bring them on. We start bringing that person on around on the network as a guest on a lot of the shows.
Exactly.
So we can find somebody who'll do a spot. Because I tell you, I get so I'm tired of seeing the truth and having to keep my mouth shut. Because I know that as soon as I say, "Did you see that? That's a false flag." I get called, "You fucking monster." There's 12 kids dead. You're saying it's fake. Really, Casper? And you're intelligent? Really, Casper? You'll say that out loud? Seriously? You're that stupid? You're a monster. I hate that. I can't deal with that.
Well, maybe I'll join you. You need to join our forum trips. I'll bring it because we post a lot of stuff like in there in the forum. And you know, I mean, I'm enjoying like what like the people that are starting to follow that.
People are coming in on their own.
Yeah.
Over 1,200 members already.
Yeah.
That's for a little over a week.
Yeah, literally, like we started the forum about the same time I started started doing a Hollywood Hempress Hour, and like it just kind of like it like that exploded.
This tickles the shit out of me to know. Wow, girlfriend. Seriously, I am a positive force in your world. Thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah. I mean, everything just kind of went boom, like it's pretty wild. We like all of us have been kind of, you know, we.
Euphoric.
Yeah.
Look at that. I'm smiling. I feel the love in your world. That is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's definitely like thank you. I mean, yeah, it's really been like a lot of stuff has been happening. I mean, it's yeah, but this show, I mean, and then the other show too, all combined is kind of like all flowing together.
God.
Yeah, and then having these guys on with me, you know, before that, just kind of primes people around to sort of get used to, you know, hearing us talk together, and like we've been flowing really good together, the three of us, you know.
I thought the third challenge went really well too. We stayed pretty good on top.
Yeah. I mean, like the main thing is like you know, like with this show, you know, we want to like keep in the topic of marijuana. I need to also start incorporating, you know, like some more articles or news or, you know, things that are out there in the media, on marijuana too. And, you know, push that in the front part. You know, but sometimes we have a really good guest too, so.
Okay, I'm getting ready to drop something into your Skype window. It's the updated media kit.
Okay.
David updated that here this evening. And
Oh, great.
get that.
Is that Skype 5.0 thing that I just got? I bounced that.
Yeah, I did too.
There you go.
Oh, thank you.
And that's for you too, Kevin. I don't know. Norb, I don't know if you're going to be doing any advertising, marketing for Terra or for the network, but if you are, you might want to get a copy of that.
Will do.
Rusty, are you still with us?
Still with you.
You guys, you know, do you want to? I mean, are you want to do the after hours thing?
Yeah, I can for a little bit. I have to get going a little bit, but I'm filming something in the morning, so.
It's okay if you can't. I mean, we can have you on at another time.
Well, yeah, maybe I'll do that. I'll do another time.
Yeah, I mean, if you gotta do something in the morning, that's okay. No worries. Yeah. But you know, keep in touch with us. Yeah, I added you to our forum.
Will do. I appreciate you having that. So I had a good time. And yeah, I just have to get ready. I have to leave at like 3:30. So I have to go get all ready to you know try to look cool for the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Cool. Well. Nice meeting everybody else.
Nice to meet you.
Having you back.
Nice meeting you, Rusty. Thank you. Well, all right. Well, everybody have a great morning and enjoy the after show.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Alrighty. Okay, so where are we meeting up for trip? What are we doing?
I'm
trying to get the Ustream link.
What Ustream link?
The one that you're gonna be using.
Oh, it's Freedom of Joyce.